So, we talked a little bit about like how we're going to these other planets and stuff like that. Was it more liberating knowing that you could kind of make these new worlds, like you weren't going to be stuck on Pandora, or is it kind of like, are you kind of like trying to avoid tropes like, oh, we don't want everything to just be like an ice planet or a desert planet like you get in like Star Wars movies and stuff like that?
I mean, part of the fun of the different planets you go to is that you're never far from corporate influence and that shadow, because the corporations have, they've controlled and vied for control over the Borderlands for so long. And so, for example, when you go to Promethea, you enter this kind of war between Atlas Corporation and Maluan. And, what's been fun to play with is like, how do you get that kind of Borderlands tone in a different planet that isn't Pandora, right? And the answer is often that, like, things suck everywhere. Like, people have terrible, tough lives in the Borderlands universe. Like, even if they thought things were going well, like, usually a war is right around the corner, and then you pick up a gun and you have to survive.
Yeah, that idea of sort of shared trauma just by being in the Borderlands universe. If you meet a living person in the Borderlands games, they've probably had multiple people try to kill them even in the last week. And so that's where a lot of that dark humor has come from, sort of as a response to it. But going to new planets kind of opened up a lot of new avenues there. When we get to Promethea, you get the sense that it was really nice just like a second ago, and then the war happened, and so now we meet all these people who, a little while ago they had more cushy metropolitan jobs. When we meet Lorelei, she was a barista, and that was the worst she had to worry about, but now she's a guerrilla fighter who has to like avoid sleeping for 72 hours because a corporate hit squad might come by. And so for her, that trauma is very fresh. And so the way she interacts with it and interacts with the player character is very different from a lot of the types of people that you'd meet on Pandora. She actually doesn't give a shit about the vault hunting. Like, we're like, hi, we're here for a vault. And they're like, cool, just trying to survive. Don't care. I'll help you if you help me. So if anything, it was very liberating.
Now, we talked a little bit earlier about there's a new fast travel system in the game. Now, obviously, a lot of dialogue, a lot of the story gets told between those point A and point B moments. So, like, what kind of unique challenges are you guys facing as far as, like, making sure people are getting the dialogue they need, but also, getting where they need to go in a timely manner?
So, Borderlands has the Echo system, and it's just kind of this, like, always open communication line between whoever wants to talk to you, even if you don't want to hear from them, especially if they're the bad guys. They'll just call you up and be like, sup, idiot? And so that's a really helpful way to sort of dispense story and have players be able to, like, move forward and accomplish things while we're dispensing that. But, with the design changes comes, challenges that you might not have foreseen. Once we opened it up and allowed players to fast travel to back to any place at any time, suddenly we couldn't rely on players being in any one place. So we had to get pretty creative about how we were dispensing information. Another thing, for example, a welcome change for Borderlands 2 players is now any Echo log that you pick up, you can play back in your menu. Yeah, that was one of the most annoying things to me, because I love that. I love scouring every map for like these really interesting little details that they put into Echo logs. So a lot more of the story ends up coming out in player character lines and the moments where you're seeing people face to face, and I think that creates a better connection between the players and the NPCs.
I feel like one of the things we hear so often from fans is that they always play twice. They play a solo run and then they play co-op for that exact reason of like, this is where I want to get engaged with the characters. I want to know everything about the story, and this is where I just want to mess around and shoot stuff and have fun with my friends.
Borderlands already has a pretty colorful cast of characters. With this time jump, like, there's going to be a lot of changes. Like, I know Tiny Tina is no longer a child. She's just Tina now. Normal size Tina now, So how do you, let these characters progress but still maintain what, people love and adore about them?
Yeah, speaking to, Tina in particular, we haven't shown much of her, but that was a big question, right? How do we give people exactly what they expect from Tina, but also keep it fresh, right? And with returning characters and returning voice actors, that was part of our conversation with them. Every time we had a first session with them, we said, how do you think this voice has changed, and what mannerisms have stuck around? And that there's a lot of really interesting insight coming from that, of like the actors from Mordecai and Brick and Tina. I personally learned a lot of what went into the Borderlands versions of those characters just from them.
If you're a fan of Borderlands 3 and you haven't played Commander Lilith and the Fight for Sanctuary, that's another fun opportunity, because like that was a great moment for us. We got to explore where the characters of Borderlands 2 kind of ended, and there's a lot of really fun hints in that DLC about where they end up in Borderlands 3. So if you haven't played it yet, there's some fun echoes to listen to. There's some interesting conversations that suggest like where these characters might have ended up.
And just to actually put this out in the world, I personally pledge to never kill off a character off screen. I know there's been a lot of questions about like who we're bringing back, who we're not for Borderlands 3, and trust me, if a character's still alive in the universe, we at some point want to bring them back and talk to them. If we have a problem, it's that we have a huge menagerie of characters that we're all like really enthusiastic about, but it's hard to bring them all back without doing them a disservice, right? So when we were thinking about the cast list of Borderlands 3, we said, okay, if we're bringing someone back, they have to have a tangible effect on both gameplay and the story, and they have to go through a story themselves. So we haven't seen the last of some beloved characters. We have a full slate of 4 story-based DLCs that we're doing post-launch, and there's some really exciting stories to be told there.
It's got to create some. You've also got to make room for new characters as well, and create your own things. So yeah.
That was one of the most fun things about Borderlands 3, is being able to create new voices in this world. Like some of the characters in Borderlands 3 are my favorites in the entire galaxy.
Yeah, there's some characters that we haven't seen yet in the gameplay reveal or any of the trailers we're really excited to see what fans think of.
Awesome. Well, we're really excited to see more Borderlands 3. When is this going to be launching?
That will be September 13th on all major platforms.
Mayhem is coming.
Mayhem's coming. That's the PR line.